Hello and welcome to another episode from the Department of Deportation. Today we're going to be taking a look at some protests that even turned into rioting, and it's all focused on immigration and people that are saying that they're not welcoming foreigners there. And guess what? This is all taking place in Mexico. Stay tuned and let's take a look. Don't forget to like and share this video and follow our channel. So, on the 4th of July, news broke that there were protests happening in Mexico City and several other areas of Mexico, all focusing on immigration. People were protesting with signs that were definitely against the United States and people from the United States coming into their country, taking jobs and making it harder for them to live and forcing people out of their own communities that they've lived in for many years. It's a story that you've heard in a lot of areas, including South Florida. So we saw the protests turn into good old-fashioned rioting, including American classic rioting styles such as looting and breaking into banks, private businesses, and people's actual homes were absolutely trashed, and we even saw things like cars getting completely smashed, destroyed, and burned to the ground. There was graffiti everywhere, and it was a lot of violence happening in the streets. We also saw some of the same anti-immigrant complaints that we see here in the U.S., and they seem entirely valid there as well. Things such as rent prices, people being forced out of areas that they classically lived in for many, many years. We saw things like job opportunities. They also want the foreigners to pay taxes, to speak the language. Assimilation. A really odd concept that people have been talking about here as well. In fact, you might say that a lot of these protesters are ultra-nationalist. You know what? They love their country. Now, before you ask yourself, are they only mad at the Gringos here in the United States that are invading their country? The answer is no. They have a wide variety of countries that they're mad at. People like Honduras and the rest of Central and South America are also being told that they're not welcome. Again, they are staying there, they are not part of the community, not part of the tax base, and it just means that the local Mexican people who are doing those things end up supporting these foreigners. And check out what some of these protesters are saying. If you love the foreigners so much, why don't you go with them? Things of that nature. It's the exact same type of signs that you see in the United States. And as we see, in Mexico, they actually have immigration policy and immigration laws. And it's part of their politics as well, not just here. So, I know what some of you are probably asking yourselves. Is this something that's brand new? Well, no, of course it's not. As we see in these video clips from 6 years ago, this was also a thing that was going on back then. Now, of course, that leads to the next question. Is it still happening? And the answer is yes. Why, just yesterday, more rioting and protests were happening in Mexico again. Let's take a look at CNN's report.
Second anti-gentrification march in Mexico City, the second one in less than a month. Protesters have taken to the streets to demand fair prices and a halt to the displacement of local residents. Demonstrators have claimed that they've been priced out of their homes.
The price of rentals has gone really high in the last couple of years since the pandemic started. For example, what used to be really affordable is now the price of 3 weeks of work. I've seen a couple of my friends having to move to other places because the rents are too expensive.
This week, Mexico City officials announced a plan to address the capital's housing and gentrification problem. The plan includes a legal framework to reduce rental prices to prevent people from being displaced. Mexico is experiencing a high record number of foreigners applying for a resident visa. In 2023, over 60,000 people applied for this resident visa and to stay in the country legally.
So there you have it, some protests and even some rioting happening in Mexico, all focused on immigration and against foreigners. It's not a new phenomenon, it's been happening for a while and it seems to be ongoing. Well, that does it for this episode. Don't forget to like and share this video, give our channel a follow, and visit DepartmentofDeportation.com and check out our merch. Our merch is probably even appropriate for the protesters in Mexico, although I don't have any in Spanish.